Hi, you all, and welcome to the Gaze Insights platform, where we talk about all things inheritance. And in today's conversation, we want to look at children and planning. If you love your children, do you plan for them? And do you intentionally put that plan on paper? My name is Angela, I'm your host. Very excited to have you here. Hope you've pressed the like button and you'll subscribe to future inheritance conversations. So, love for our children is a profound thing. And when we love our children, we want to see the best for them. We want their futures to be set. But love without structure is a risk. It's really a high risk. And sometimes we put it off, we procrastinate, we don't actually get round to planning for these children. And in future, it creates some of the biggest challenges they'll ever face. Affection is emotional, but when we're dealing with the legacy is structural. As parents, many of you will say, I love my children equally. But when you die, when death comes, it is a game changer. It comes with so many loopholes, and love is not what will protect them. Clarity is what will protect your children. Structure, documentation will go a long way to easing your children into the life you want to see them have. Everybody leaves something on this earth, whether it's small or big. So inheritance affects everybody at one point or another. If you love your children, do not leave them in the confusion of an estate that is unplanned, however small it is, however big it is. Love is not a succession plan. You may have good intentions, but that will not prevent inheritance battles. As a parent, you may believe the children will sort it out, or my children get along, so I don't have issues, or the children know what they want, but do they really? What exactly do you mean when you say that? What you mean and what is written are two completely different things. After you're gone, there's no referee, and interpretation replaces intention. Silence creates competition. When you don't define roles, your children will compete for them. If you own land, a family home, maybe rental property, a business, investments, you must clarify many things before you pass. Who is going to manage what? Who benefits? Who decides? Can this be sold? How will they handle disputes? Unclear power becomes sibling rivalry. So when leadership disappears without a system, siblings scramble. And you need to remember that inheritance is a power transfer. Death redistributes the authority you have, and power shifts are never neutral. The eldest may assume leadership, the youngest may feel sidelined, the daughter may question fairness, the son may feel entitled. If you don't define structure, your children will define it for themselves. And that process, I can tell you, is rarely peaceful. So make private promises, yes, but are you making these private promises and putting them in writing? Because private promises create public conflict. The conflict is never handled among two people, it's handled by an entire family. A whispered promise can destroy a united family. One child is saying, Dad told me this land was mine. Mom said the house belongs to me. And all these private assurances later become courtroom evidence. If it's not written and communicated clearly, it becomes a source of resentment. Transparency will always protect relationships. So, if you have a family business without governance, you're setting up a time bomb. A business can survive market risk and all other types of risk, but it will not survive sibling warfare. If one child works in the business and others do not, define compensation, define ownership, define decision making. Include exit options. Otherwise, one feels overworked, another feels excluded, another feels entitled. Structure will remove emotional guessing. And planning should be an act of emotional responsibility. The greatest inheritance is clarity. Planning says you don't want your children to fight. It says, I'm thinking about my legacy beyond my lifetime. It says, I value my relationship more than my comfort. When you avoid the conversation because it's comfortable, you mess everything up and you leave your children at loggerheads with each other. Leading it is responsible. So you need to take that step and action it. What does planning actually mean? Planning is not just writing the will. You have to align your will to your family expectations. Clear legal documentation, family conversations through family meetings before you pass. You need to have governance structures for shared assets. Also define roles and responsibilities and ensure you have a conflict resolution pathway. Peace after death is designed before death, not after you're gone. So you need to look deep into this, think it through, but don't take too long. Your children will not fight because you love them differently. They'll fight because you left them with questions instead of clarity. And if your children love you, they love you when you're present. If you love your children, plan for them, not for the assets, but for the peace, because assets can be bought and sold. For the children, the legacy you're receiving has been earned and worked for by the people leaving it behind. Ask questions as well. If you're not sure about where a specific part of your parents or family members' legacy is heading, you can bring this conversation out. I hope this will help some of you to gain clarity on the things you must do if you love your children enough. Like, share, subscribe. Join us again as we delve deeper into inheritance, all things inheritance, and all things that affect families and bring conflict in a world that is so affected by this panacea. My name is Angela once again. I'm excited to have you here, and I want to thank you for joining us today.